Welcome to SKYPODCAST,
A Spotify exclusive. Another day.
another podcast.
Ito na ba yung intro natin? Another day, another Sky Podcast.
How are you, my love?
Love, I have a question for you.
I asked you, how are you?
Yeah,
Hindi mo ako
alam mo
sinagot.
na yung kung paano ako. I'm good. I'm handsome.
Oh my God. Si GSS pa rin siya. Ano yun?
What was the biggest failure or what were the biggest failures that you would consider in your life?
The biggest failures? My gosh. I'm sure I've had a lot of failures, but I don't consider them as anything na parang nakabox siya na ito yung failures ko. I've
Yeah.
never thought about it, to be honest.
Well, kasi I was just thinking the other day na parang pareho tayo ng perspective wherein you know the times where nung bata pa tayo, maybe teenagers or maybe like 20s. Wow, ang tanda na natin, love.
You know the time, 20s.
Oo. Alam mo yung uso pa yung Nintendo. Alam mo yung the things that we super stressed about and we felt like will
End of
be
the
the
world.
end of the world. Looking back at it right now is actually number one, a good story because of the failure, a good learning experience. Pero parang it never quite became the end of the world.
Yeah, and for me, when you ask me nga about failures, wala nga akong maisip. Feeling ko these things that we're so stressed out about. Because for sure, I've had a lot of moments na sobrang
Yes.
stressed ako. Pero hindi ko na nga siya maalala. Alam mo yun, like
Yes.
dati, akala mo end of the world. Pero ngayon, hindi mo na siya maalala.
Oh, and it's a good lesson to take to the present moment also. Na parang the things that we feel are a must-have or a must-succeed, parang pag nadaanan natin, even if it doesn't work out the way we wanted it to, even if it became an utter failure, parang looking back at it, it becomes a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, always. It's always like that.
Parang merong ganyan palagi,
Yeah.
no? So,
Like failed relationships, akala mo wala na talaga, this is the end of the world, blah, blah, blah. And then, usually, like all my friends who've gone through it, they always tell me, buti na lang.
Yes.
Diba? It's always like that.
It's always like
thank
that.
God we broke up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like parang sa mga negosyo ko na hindi nag-work out. Like I would say, sakto lang din pala because at that time, I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't, parang marami tayong mga ganyan in our
Or
lives.
thank God I'm not in this industry anymore, or all of these things.
There are certain things in life that are unfortunate na ang laki talaga ng impact sa atin. But feeling ko, as long as we don't consider it as the end-all, be-all na 99%, hindi naman lahat. Na meron naman talaga
Generally speaking. This is coming from our own experience.
you can always rise up to the occasion. And I'm bringing this up because napapansin ko, you were doing an Instagram story wherein you asked like, ano yung mga topics na pinagdaanan ng mga tao. And it's usually about stress.
Everyone's stressed.
About
Toxic work.
toxic work,
Yeah.
toxic,
Or like trying to achieve goals, like all your peers are achieving stuff, but you're not. Like being late on your own timeline.
Yes.
But that's precisely it. It's your own timeline. It's not like anybody else's timeline. So we're always, nga, parang with life these days, there's always an end goal. There's always by this age, or 20 before 20, 30 before 30, richest whatever before this age.
But you know what? Meron din siyang opposite eh.
Why?
Di ba parang pag sinabi natin, yung failure doesn't seem to be like the end of it. Yung success din, baliktad din. Pareho din.
Yeah.
Na pag sinabi ko, okay, I want to have this a certain amount of money in my bank account by the
never
time
ends.
pagdating mo dun, it doesn't feel any different. It doesn't feel like, it feels nice, pero ano na next? Parang
Yeah.
ganyan pa rin eh.
Yeah.
So,
Even me, like when I, let's say, have this dream collaboration, I work with this dream client.
Yeah.
It's so amazing when I finally book it and I'm there and I'm in the experience and it's amazing. And then after that, what's next? Hindi naman matatapos talaga eh. Wala namang
Yes.
finish line.
At the end of the day, nothing is truly ever final until ano na siguro tayo pag we proceed to the other side. Yun na yung final.
And even then, we don't know.
Ay, hindi natin alam.
Yeah. We don't know anything.
Oo.
Our knowledge is too limited, guys.
Yeah, and I was thinking na this knowing this helps us navigate stress in a better way, I would say, na parang pag alam natin na no failure is an end-all failure. No deal is a must-do deal. No work or job or career is a end-all be-all. Mas marirealize natin yung ano importante. Because now that I'm saying this, parang meron ding mga important na failures or things that we need to avoid. Like, for example, family. Na importante talaga natin na hindi natin bitawan. But 99% of the things, parang it's not as serious as we believe it to be.
Even when it comes to something so taxing like physical pain, that's something that I always think of. For example, I'm in this situation where there was a time before na I would be puking and pooping at the same time because of my period. I know that's so
yeah,
TMI,
I remember
but
that.
I had that situation, and every time I would get it like once a month, parang
So,
feeling
paano
ko end
yun?
of the world na.
Pag puking and pooping at the same
I'll
time?
be in the bathroom, in the toilet, but I have a trash can on my lap.
Akala ko pa back and forth kasi inidoro ko sino maghaharap.
I don't think that would be very efficient. But yeah, that time, parang I really remember na, fuck, kill me na lang. Why is this happening to me? This is so embarrassing. Like all of these things running through your head when you're in physical pain, or like when I was in labor with Scott. There are times na, parang, why is this happening to me? Like I told myself in the labor room, like before I gave birth, I'm never gonna be one of those moms that are wailing. It's all mental. I kept telling myself it's all mental. You can control it. But when you're there and the pain is just too much for you to bear, you're physically shaking, parang you're wailing, hindi mo na gets anong ginagawa ng katawan mo. But what was always at the back of my head is, this too shall pass. I know that sounds so cliche, but it's always, this is not forever. Like,
Yes.
maybe it's gonna last me for another hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. So, baka 5 minutes lang. Di ko alam. Every contraction, baka, di ba may break naman. And when it ends, parang you feel like, I don't know, nothing's finite. You know what I mean? And that's always, whenever I'm going through something stressful, physically, mentally, emotionally, I always think that at the end of this, lalabas din ako.
Lilipas din yan. Sa akin, like, you were saying na parang, I'll never be one of these moms na will be wailing in the emergency room. Parang, it goes to show that a lot of the things that we consider failure is actually tayo lang ang gumagawa.
Yeah.
Tayo
I
lang
also
ang
thought to
nagsasabi ng-
myself, I'm never gonna be, like my sister who's a mom of 5, na she just breastfeeds everywhere. Like her boobs are everywhere and she doesn't care anymore. And I told myself, I'm never gonna be like that. That's so embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. But when I gave birth, I'm like, I'm in so much pain. I have so many things to think about. I don't care about my boobs. If you want to look at my boobs, look at my boobs. I don't care. Like, ganun na yung mindset. So, these things that we put so much value on before, diba? Like, I'm never gonna be like this. Dapat ganito, dapat ganyan. At the end of the day, hindi naman talaga dapat.
Pwedeng i-adjust.
It's just your own mindset making it so na dapat. Like when we look at our favorite personalities online or, why is she doing this? Dapat ganito, dapat ganyan. Diba? It's always, we have these boxes that we like to fit people in. But we have to realize that these boxes shouldn't exist. They only exist because we put them there. Tayo yung nag-construct ng box. Yeah.
Sa akin is more of, in a concept of someone that's growing up, nothing about motherhood. But let's say, for example, you see a certain figure that you want to achieve and hindi mo ma-achieve. Yung failure mo from not achieving that is actually self-imposed. Because your goal was self-imposed in the first place. Diba? Pag sinabi mong, I have to have this much in the bank account by the time I get this age, that's also self-imposed. Pag hindi mo siya na-achieve, no one else knows that you failed or not. Ikaw lang. And to be honest, a lot of the times, the people around you don't really care.
They don't care. Everybody's thinking about themselves and their own goals and their own successes and failures. To think about if you're breastfeeding in public or if you achieve this goal or if you have this much in the bank.
Yeah.
Diba?
Oh, and when you look at someone on Instagram that's highly successful, parang ang dami din, you're looking at it from a certain perspective. Like when you say successful, ano ba yung successful niya? Okay, meron siyang pera, meron siyang happy family, but there are a lot of aspects na hindi mo rin nakikita. The struggles that has to be done to get there. Are those struggles, are you willing to sacrifice those things to have what they have?
Are you willing to go through their struggles too?
Yes.
To get to where they are?
And parang, bakit ba sila talaga ang dapat magiging benchmark? Hindi naman kailangan, di ba? Like, there are a lot of things that we consider success and failure, but a lot of times, it is just us playing games with ourselves.
Yeah.
Kung ano talaga yung dapat natin.
It's really mental. If you guys want to hear the full episode, you can
Check us out on Spotify.
Spotify.